Hi, I'm Noel from Series Organics, and I'm sitting here today with Megan from Little Bird, and we both go back a long way in the organic movement, and we're here talking about organics. So if you think of the history of organics in New Zealand, there was a point where pioneers appeared and started consolidating the organic movement, and your parents were deeply involved with BioGrow coming out. And
yeah, they were some of the founders of that space.
yes,
I think the first meeting was in 1982.
wow. And primarily driven from the farming side.
Yeah.
And Ceres was involved as a retailer at that time, or lightly involved.
Yeah, Mum and Dad used to sell their produce to the Ceres store,
Wow.
and then any extra produce that there wasn't a market for organically got sold conventionally.
And then, yes, and Ceres had a role in, you might say, making organics stand up in the market, getting it moving.
Yeah.
It's
And
interesting to look
It
back.
is, because it still very much is like that with Ceres.
Yeah.
I think that's for us at Little Bird, starting the company, we wouldn't really have been able to do that without Ceres. We wouldn't be able to access or import ingredients at the levels that would be required. So, I mean, Ceres really is responsible for a lot of smaller organic startups being able to get into the market.
And I think that's in part of our ethos, is to encourage local communities, life in a local sense, but not just local in terms of New Zealand. For us, I mean, it is in terms of producers in New Zealand, but local for us is also local in a country overseas where we're working with a group of farmers and trying to build up their economic sustainability.
Yeah. And that's actually what my father, that's what he did for a lot of my sort of teenage years and up until quite recently, was working with smallholder farmers in developing countries.
Yes.
Getting organics to market
Yeah.
and providing those communities with less chemicals in their environments and better access to better pricing.
Yeah. And have you noticed any changes in organics over that time?
A lot of change. I mean, I grew up in organic stores. I mean, we had so much, especially in the sort of the last 10 years, so much more variety. And then with COVID, it sort of shrunk a little bit again. But yes, I mean, access to interesting ingredients and, with different nutritional profiles, and yeah, that grew a lot.
Yes, shifted from the basic
Yeah.
commodities to our wide variety.
Yeah.
But I think one of the challenges has always been trying to convey what organics is about, because it's a complex thing and you can't say it in a soundbite. The most you can say in a soundbite is there's no chemicals, but that doesn't really convey what organics is about, and so you get into a long conversation. It's always interesting how people get into organics. How did Little Bird come about? I mean, you have a long background. But
Yeah, so there's the long history in organics with the family. I actually went to do an environmental science degree, thinking I might do a little bit of what Mum and Dad does, or did, working in developing countries. I started my kind of career at the council, thinking I could, start making a difference there actually starting out in the planning department. And I soon realised within that I wasn't going to make much change there, and that what I was doing with food was creating a lot more change. And I thought if I could change what was on someone's plate and change their relationship with food, I could have much more of an impact than what I could do at the council.
that's interesting. It's very similar to what was behind Ceres, changing our food system, trying to take the world in a different direction, starting locally.
Yeah, it's like changing people's relationships with the environment around them, and especially what someone's doing 3 times a day, mostly.
Yes.
Eating 3 times a day, you've got 3 opportunities a day to think about your relationship with food and the environment and your health. I feel like that's, it's a constant reminder when you look at it through that lens.
But to find that consciousness to keep looking at it even more deeply. I think it's interesting because I think there's a change that happens when people come to organics, and I think it is about no chemicals and me, my health and my family's health, or especially my children's health. But then there's a shift that comes, and I think that's really interesting. And for me, the International Federation of Organic Agricultural Movements and their 4 principles really captures what organics is about. They talk about health, and when you think about healthy soils lead to healthy plants, lead to healthy people, healthy animals, it's the health of everybody there.
Yeah, it's an ecosystem approach.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
that's the second one, the ecology that you respect.
I think growing up as kids in a kind of a rural area where there was kiwi fruit farming, we'd all have to come inside, when it was spray day, and there's that real realization that what's happening on the farms is affecting the health of our communities.
Yeah.
And my mum got quite sick from those sprays, and so it's it really affects people's lives, and there's many stories of that. So from that, it's just a very tangible example of what we're doing on farms really does affect our health and the health of the environment.
And we're talking about the health of farm workers too.
Exactly, farm workers and their families.
Yeah. So I think when you talk about organics, for me, it's to get to the life that you're supporting in nature, in human beings, and point to the positive part of it.
Yes.
Is that how you see it?
Yeah, well, that's actually a lot of what Little Bird was based on, was lots of sprouting, and we do that as well. So it's thinking about the life force that's in the food, and that's the health of the soil, the health of the plant, the health of the seed, and all of those things. And I think I came at Little Bird partly from having adrenal fatigue, and my health wasn't great. So it was, how do I shift my diet and the way I'm eating to think about the life force that's in the food, and that's the water, the air, it's everything that food is grown in.
Opens up a huge realm of what is life. Yeah. How do you look at nature? Is it just physical, or is there something else there?
Yeah, those are the big questions, and I think obviously for me it's definitely you see the life force that's in nature around you, and organics sort of plays into that so strongly.
I think people are beginning to wake up to it.
So I just want to say thank you so much to Noel for coming in today and making some smoothies with me. That was a lot of fun.
I'll be back to drink them, won't you?
We made nut milk together, and we've got 2 really different delicious smoothies for people to come in and try.
I'll be a customer. So thank you for inviting me across here, Megan.
Yeah,
wonderful to be here.
Yeah, so lovely to have you here, and just really grateful for you and for Ceres and everything you do for the organic community. So
but also for you.
Yeah.
Also to you.